Probably have sauce on my face. That's okay. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So, as you can tell from the title, we are veganizing the Big Mac today. I'm going to start this one off with a little bit of story time though. Here's some information about the Big Mac and me that you probably don't know and probably wouldn't have expected. So, obviously I've been vegan now for about 6 years, just about anyway, and haven't eaten meat in like 7, maybe a little bit more than that. I don't even really remember. But let's flash back to the year 1998. That's right, we're going back. We had a grade 9 class trip, our school and another school in the area. This is what they would do. They would do a class trip in the spring, and they would go to, we're in Nova Scotia out on the East Coast, and we would go to Quebec. We would go to Quebec City, we would go to Montreal, and just do like the Quebec trip. So while I was there, I kind of ended up spending most of my money within the first couple of days, and I bought this like Team Canada hockey jersey. I don't even know why, I just figured that was the thing to do. Anyway, so I bought this jersey, and I didn't have a lot of money left. I mean, I had like 6 days left on this trip and barely any money left, so guess what I was eating the entire time? Now obviously we had like outings and stuff that were paid for on the trip, like we had meals and stuff that were part of the package deal. But if I wanted food on my own, I had McDonald's. So I went to this McDonald's on, I think, Rue Saint-Jean in Montreal, probably like 10 times during this trip, and I would get the Big Mac. I would get the double Big Mac, actually. So I ate Big Macs, or doubles, probably like 10 times in less than a week on my Quebec trip when I was like 14 or something in Montreal. And as gross as that sounds now, it makes for a little bit of a prelude to this recipe demo where I'm going to veganize the Big Mac. So hey, silver lining. Okay, so for the Big Mac sauce, we are, and I've got my little recipe card over here on the side, but this is pretty basic. So for the Big Mac sauce, we are going to use a half a cup of mayo. And for that, we've got some of the Hellmann's vegan mayo. You can use any vegan mayo, of course. That's just what we had on hand. We're going to use some French dressing. This Kraft French dressing is just an accidentally vegan product, so it's going to call for 2 tablespoons of this. Next up, it calls for 4 teaspoons of relish. We don't actually have any relish here, but we've just got some diced up dill pickle. That's going to do pretty much the same thing. I mean, if you have relish on hand, go ahead and use it, but that's okay. Calls for 1 tablespoon of minced onion, we just have here in a little shaker. I've already dirtied my tablespoon. I'm just going to use 3 teaspoons, same thing. One tablespoon of vinegar is the next thing, and 1 teaspoon of sugar. And we need 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. So luckily, we actually have one of these. So that is not a lot of salt. Basically just a couple good pinches. And now we just mix this up. There you have it, folks. There is vegan Big Mac sauce. So obviously the sauce is prepared. We did that earlier. And so now just making the burgers. So we're using the Beyond Meat, Beyond Beef. And this stuff is amazing. Tons of protein, no cholesterol. There's a shot of that. If you wanted to pause that and read it, you certainly can do so. But yeah, so we're gonna use the Beyond Meat, Beyond Beef, form our patties, and make our burgers. Okay, so we have this little like patty press thing here. That's what I'm gonna use to form the burgers. You can obviously use just by hand or whatever you've got to work with, but pretty simple. Just gonna peel this open. And I don't know exactly how big the patties are. I think they're 1/4 pound patties for a Big Mac. This here is 12 ounces, so it's like 3/4 of a pound. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to, I'm gonna make 4 patties out of this. Try to break it up somewhat evenly. This thing is really handy. Et voila. It's a little bit messy, I have to be honest with you. It feels really weird, like the texture is really weird because it feels like I'm handling actual hamburger, which is like super strange and foreign to me. When I worked at one of the places I worked at, it was in like a cafeteria inside of a factory, and we would have to make we'd have to hand form, and well, we did have a little patty press as well, but we'd have to make like probably 2 of those huge logs of hamburger worth of burgers up every shift, and it just feels so strange to actually be handling this stuff again, because that's what it feels like, even though this is made from plants. So I know that it's not the same. It doesn't change the fact that the texture, the feel of it is about the same. So yeah, it's really strange. But that's okay, because no animals were harmed in the making of this Big Mac video. And there we go. Move this to the side. I'm gonna get those frying up, and then we can start putting this stuff together. Also wanted to mention that for the cheese, we'll be using the Earth Island, which is Follow Your Heart. It's just branded Earth Island here in Canada. The cheddar slices. That's gonna go really nicely on these vegan Big Macs. All right, so I'm just using these local store-baked sesame buns for the Big Macs. I think this is gonna be really nice. As you know, if you are aware about vegan Big Macs, or any Big Macs for that matter, is that they actually have the middle piece of bun that's in there. So what I'm gonna do is just use the bottoms. I'm gonna cut a little piece off of these and use those as the bottom piece, or as the middle piece rather, in the middle of the Big Mac. All right, and if you're not aware of what this looks like while it's cooking, they definitely have that reddish tinge. They definitely look like meat cooking and kind of smell like it too. I'm just about to flip those. Okay, so here's the pro tip, guys, to get a little bit of a toasting on the inside of the bread, but without actually making the bun toasted and firm. You just don't want this to be really nice and soft. You just place it face down in the pan for a few seconds. And that is going to crisp that up just on that one side. All right, so now comes the fun part, actually putting this thing together. And there is, you know, kind of a way you're supposed to put it together. So you take the bottom bun, you spread some of the sauce on there that we made earlier. And then you get some onion, some lettuce, and you put a slice of cheese on there. Okay, you put your first patty. Put your middle bun. Some more sauce. And some more onion and lettuce. And you throw some pickle on there. And then your second patty and your top bun. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a vegan Big Mac. Now, it may not look the greatest from this angle. Actually, it looks pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna give it a little taste test here and see what it's like. I can already tell this is gonna be amazing because, yeah, Big Mac, Beyond Meat. All right, so yeah, this Big Mac, I'm kind of holding it upside down here because it's the way it holds together the best, but this is really good, and this is a good bun for this because it's nice and soft. But all right, let's try it out. Oh my God. Okay. I haven't tasted that. I like had this. The pickle really sets it off. Flashbacks to 1998. Quebec trip. Okay, so it's a bit messy, but guys, that is a Big Mac. Oh, that's so good. So easy to replicate too. But all right, so we're gonna go ahead, eat our meal. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know in the comments if you've had the Beyond Meat and if you want to try a vegan Big Mac after this. Probably have sauce on my face. That's okay. All right, we'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.